Oké, wij gaan nu op weg naar meneer Pratt, die een warm voorstander is van het omvangrijke Amerikaanse wapenbezit onder de burgers. Oei. You're a great supporter of the right to bear arms. I suppose you know all the objections against citizens having guns. Of course, here in the United States there are lots of accidents when it comes to firearms. Lots of firearms are used within criminal acts. So, wouldn't it be more pragmatic and, in the end, safer to have a system like we have in the Netherlands?
It would be immoral to have a system of strong restrictions on firearms.
But would you call our system immoral?
Yes, I would, because it deprives people the right to protect themselves, the obligation, frankly, that each individual has, which the government cannot do. Van Gogh was not protected by the government when he was slain for having written a movie. If he had had a firearm on him, it's quite possible that he would have survived that attack. When the Nazis came and confiscated the few guns that were in people's private ownership, that made it so that they could then rule the whole country.
Even if every Dutchman would have had a firearm, it would have been impossible to
the idea that it's impossible.
Out.
The idea that it's impossible to resist the government by an armed people is belied by what happened in our own history, where we threw off the government who had guns and more of them than we had. It's belied by what happened in Afghanistan against the Soviet Union, and frankly our own experience in Vietnam. An inferior armed people were able, because they had the determination to overthrow. If we were to take out our cities where we have our strong gun control similar to yours, America's murder rates would be lower than England's.
Your government doesn't threaten you, does it?
Oh, yes, it does.
It really does?
The idea of monopoly power in the hands of a few people means that you have to do whatever they might happen to believe is a good idea at the time. The idea that you have popular sovereignty, people being able to vote, in the end, doesn't mean very much if the people can't enforce rebellion by government officials against the popular sovereignty. The emblem of a free man is a gun. What did we have when we had slavery in this country? We had laws saying that black people could not have guns.
Do you know what the implication is, that in Holland we live in slavery? That in Belgium they live in slavery, and that in Denmark they live in slavery, and that in England they live in slavery.
The absence of an organized militia allowed the Nazis to run over your countries. Once the king said, "I surrender," there wasn't any way for the people to resist because they weren't trained at arms. They didn't have the experience of working together as a militia, as a popular sovereignty.
I can assure you that even if we should have had firearms, even if we should have had a well-organized militia, that any opposition, any fight against the Wehrmacht would have been ridiculous. That would have been without any sense whatsoever.
No, that's a comforting thing to think.
A modern
but
army.
All that does is lead to inaction, and what we've seen in modern history is not something that bears out doing nothing. Doing nothing is only a prescription for sure death when the government has completely jumped its bounds.